Okay. Hello. Can everybody hear me? My microphone got broken in the other building, so I'm here. I'm going to be talking very loud. Good to see you're all awake. I can't say that at the other building. 3 people sitting there going, what? Well, welcome to my show. My name is Perry Kurtz. I am a comedian, and I'm here to try and entertain you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. This is what I'm looking for. I like a crowd that reacts. So what I want to do is I want to start by asking some questions, simple stuff. I don't want you to have to raise your hand or applaud, but if your answer is yes, I want you to go, ee-haw! Just like that. So we'll do a practice. On the count of 3, everybody go ee-haw as hard and as long as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ee-haw!
Whoa. All right, that was more than I asked for. All right, remember, if your answer is yes, go ee-haw. Ready? First question, how many people are seeing me today for the first time?
Ee-haw!
Okay. How many have never seen me before?
Ee-haw!
Okay, confused a couple people. How many people are here today?
Ee-haw!
Yeah. How many don't know where you are? Hey, the big one, how many really don't care at this point?
Ee-haw!
Okay. Can everybody see me in my jacket?
Yes. Ee-haw!
Is that beautiful? I bought this in 1981 for $21. Let me make sure we're cooking. All right. Bought it for $21. And as far as I know, I'm the only man on the earth that has one like this. I went to 5 Academy Award parties in the past 5 years. Thousands of people, no other men had this jacket. But women were constantly walking up and touching me. That's affection as far as I'm concerned. So I let them. I see somebody shiny back there. Hi, we almost match.
Oh, yeah.
Only you look good in it. Yeah. So I am a comedian. I have been a full-time comedian since 1974. When I was 10 years old, people started telling me, you're funny. You always have an answer. You should be a comedian. And so in 1974, I was living in Philadelphia. Anybody ever hear of Philadelphia?
Ee-haw!
Philadelphia is one of the original cities, but they think of themselves as advanced and progressive. Yet all these years, they haven't fixed the Liberty Bell. You can't put some duct tape over that thing? So I was raised in the period of the song, Under the Boardwalk. And in the summer, we would go to Atlantic City where we would get arrested for being under the boardwalk. And I went to a bar and they were having a talent show and I got up and I just talked. Just talked about my life. You go, oh, you're funny. I walked out with $500. That's like $4,000 now. And I said, that's it. So I became a comedian. In 1979, I moved to San Francisco from Philadelphia. Met my best friend, Robin Williams.
Oh, my God.
I met him, he was doing some improv at a show, and then I was there the next night, I was hosting the show, and I was up there, and I just didn't know what I was talking about, and he jumped up and we started improvising together. And so we did 2-3 hours of improv together for 6 years, and became very, very, very close. Now, while I was living in San Francisco, I was going on the road a lot, but once a month, I would have dinner on Broadway in San Francisco, a place called Enrico's, where the celebrities would go to eat. And I was having dinner with Bill Cosby. He was very nice, always had some great cigars. He was very nice to me. I mean, there was one time I woke up and there was a cigar in my mouth. I think it was a cigar in my mouth, and I fell right back to sleep. But while I was having dinner with him, I met 2 of my other best friends. Rodney Dangerfield, who couldn't get any respect, nothing like that when he wasn't performing, just a normal guy, and Uncle Milton Berle. He was like my grandfather. He taught me about personality and how to be yourself, and he said, people don't remember comedians by their jokes. They remember you by your personality. And he looked at me and says, you should be easy for you, because you're weird as hell. And I said, thank you, Milt. So I was very fortunate to have these people in my life. So I lived in San Francisco for 10 years. Every couple months, Milton would fly me down here to play at the Friars Club. You've heard of that?
Yes.
Where they do all those roasts. One time I got to do 8 minutes, which was long for an unknown. And I got up the stage and I was surrounded by Johnny Carson, Shecky Green, Charles Durning, Joey Bishop, and Phyllis Diller.
Oh,
And they were all so nice. And Johnny says, I like you, kid, you like me. I said, good, can I have your show? He goes, don't push your luck. All of a sudden I get a tap on the shoulder, I turn around, it's a little heavy-set guy, bald-headed, takes my hand and says, hey kid, I saw your show. Hits my face, he goes, nice try. Don Rickles. So I've been insulted by the best. So this is all I have been doing since '74. Now about 12 years ago, I decided there's a group of people that are not coming out. You guys are not going to the comedy clubs. So I figured I would come to you and try to get you to smile. It could still happen. Thank you. If you could pass that laugh around for the rest of the room. But the bottom line is, comedy is very important to all of us. Laughter is a magical reaction to things. We laugh when we're surprised. We laugh when we're not sure what's going on. But when you laugh, it makes you feel better. Did you know that if you're not having a good day, you can have a fake laugh? Just out of nowhere, just go, and you will instantly feel better. I'm going to show you on the count of 3. I want everybody to laugh for 3 or 4 seconds as loud as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Everybody laugh. All right, there's 5 or 6 people that weren't smiling before. Now you're smiling. See, when you laugh, it shakes your body. And it creates a blood flow, so the blood goes to your brain. Because the breathing puts oxygen into your blood, and it goes to your brain, and it keeps you alive. So breathe, and don't be afraid to laugh. Laughter is magical. Every time you laugh, it creates a chemical in your brain called endorphins, which relieves stress and pain. It's the same chemical that's generated during sex, but I'm not suggesting that.
Oh.
I'm not in a hurry to go. So, yeah, not during the show anyway. But try to laugh. We laugh at ourselves. We're the only creatures on the earth that laughs at ourselves. No animals do that. You're never going to see a dog walking down the street, trip and fall on his face and get him to go, Only us. So laugh at yourself, and occasionally you can laugh at others if they don't catch you. Example, you ever bang your funny bone? Is it funny to you? No, but everybody in the room is hysterical. Look, you hit your funny bone. So enjoy yourself. Laugh, laugh, laugh. And don't forget to breathe. That's really important. It helps. Very good. I like you already. So just try to enjoy yourself. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people here are over 40. Prove it?
Quite a bit.
We're going to have to cut off the leg and count the rings. That's the only way you know for sure. Do you have any? How many of you people never imagined you would get to 40? Anybody here? Couple people? Anybody think you'd ever get to 50? Or 60? Or 70? Or 80? Or 90? Or 100? I had a lady at a show, comes up to me, she's this tall, walks up to me after the show like John Wayne, sideways. She said, hey baby, my name's Jean, I'm 105. And I said, nice to meet you, Jean. And she grabs me around the head, she says, I like your humor, you're kind of cute. By the way, my husband's not doing really good. Why didn't you come back and see me in 6 months? Then she grabs my head, turns it, and kisses me on the lips for 3 seconds.
Oh, good Lord.
Good Lord is right. I've heard myself say that. I actually started praying that I would get out of there as soon as I could. And then she said, come back and see me, sweetheart. And she walked away as sexily as she could, like this. Which is normal, because you know, when we get old, our bodies crumple up. We're not as straight as we used to. We're not as tall as used to be. In the past 2 years, I've lost an inch off my height. I'm just glad that's the only place. Could have been off my arms. But as I said, my name is Perry. It's an unusual name. There's not a lot of people named Perry these days. Perry as in Perry Como, Perry Mason, Perry Winkle. My mother uses a medication called perianal cream. She tells me that every single time I call her. And now there's a very famous rock and roll singer by the name of Katy Perry. You've heard of her? Yeah, well, she's a woman. I'm a man. Don't make me prove that. I proved it last week and she said, oh, you're Jewish. That's as dirty as I'm getting. But I love my life. I do 100, 150 shows a year. I was just down the street over at the Gateway Gardens, and it's nice to see everybody sitting up. This is really good, you know. But one thing you got to remember is we're all getting older. I don't know if you noticed this. And personally, we're getting older. You're not old. You're getting older.
Exactly.
Exactly. Older means you're still moving. You're still going somewhere. Also, I don't like being called a senior. I think we should be called vintage. Because vintage means you've been knocked down, you've been fixed up, but you still have value. And let's face it, we're the people that kept this country going for the past 78 years, right?
Yeehaw.
That's right. We're the reason we're still here. Now there's a pumpkin run in the country, and I don't know where we're going. I just hope somebody puts that out on the doorstep for Halloween. But you gotta try and enjoy yourself. Getting older brings changes. Our bodies change. Remember when you were 18 years old and you were thin and your body was flat, and to wash the soap off in the shower, you just put your hands up and it washed off. Then you hit 40. Then your gravity starts pulling all your parts down. Now to wash the soap off, you have to lift things out of the way. I did that, I found a wallet under my stomach. Had a $50 bill in there, it was still good. Our hair goes gray, almost everybody here's got gray hair, we're all starting to go gray. All of us. Your hair just got up and went. But that's right, it's a sign of virility. Just play along. I love that shirt, by the way, great shirt. Now, I'm happy I got my hair. I'm amazed, 67, I got all my hair. That's it, by the way, I'm 67, I'm not just here to entertain you, I'm looking for a place to live. So my question is, how's the food?
Good.
Great.
Oh, thank God.
Very good. Very good.
I was at a place last week, I said, how's the food? And one woman went, ugh. I said, does that mean it's bad? She goes, no, it'll kill you. Okay, I'm not eating here. But as seniors, we go through a lot of changes. You know, we get bent over, our hair goes gray, we start losing our hair, we lose our sight, we have to wear special glasses, bifocals. If you've never worn them, the two lenses, the top one so you can see distances. The bottom one is so you can read. And what it does, it makes everything look closer. And when I first got them, I had trouble walking up the stairs because I couldn't see where the stairs were. Now, it's one thing if you trip coming down, but you know how stupid you look when you're going like this? Getting neuropathy, I got that in my feet. And we all have to take medications, right? Okay, 30, 40, 300 pills a day. Have you ever noticed that when you pick up the handful of pills, just as you put them to your mouth, the tiniest one falls out, hits the floor, and disappears off the earth? There is a planet behind Pluto made up of all those little pills, because they're sure not in your room. You pull up the carpet, they disappear. We go through changes, we have to change our eating style, you know, and I've gone through some major changes myself. Like I said, I started in San Francisco in 1989. I got into the Comedy Store, I got to work with Richard Pryor, and David Letterman was there, and Milton was coming down. And I met my wife. We talked online on the computer, and I talked to her on the phone, and I fell in love with her because she has a southern accent. Anybody here from the Deep South? Anybody Alabama? Down there?
Texas.
Texas. All right, how you doing, sir? Lone Star State.
Good as can be expected.
I like that. That's brilliant. You know, the longer you live, the older you get.
That's right. I just turned 90.
90? Wow. And your brain's working good. That's great. That's great. I mean, keep the brains working. One of the best ways you can keep your brain working is to talk to people. People develop dementia because they're bored. They don't have anybody to interact with. When you have a conversation, your brain's going blah, 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 and the two parts are working together. So talk to each other. If you see somebody sitting in the hallway and they're looking at the ground, just go up and say, are you okay? Anything you want to talk about? You might save a life. Remember when you first moved here? You left your homes, you left your families. Now you're in this giant house with a bunch of strangers. And looking around, I think strangers is the best word. So you got to know people. Be friends with each other. And don't lay around your room and stare at the television. You remember growing up, the TV was called the boob tube? They said if you watched it too much, you would grow up to be stupid. I've watched way too much television. So in the meanwhile, I met my wife in 1990. We were hanging out at the Comedy Store, and then 6 months later, she says, hey, why don't you come out to my house? I drive out there, I walk in, there's a baby on the floor, trying to crawl, and a little boy and a little girl in the corner playing with blocks. So I asked a logical question, honey, who are these kids? And she goes, I guess I forgot to tell you, I have children. I wasn't laughing, I was looking at the two doors, trying to think which one's gonna get me out of the house quicker. You ever hear the old phrase, don't get involved with somebody who has baggage? My wife owns Samsonite. Well, I got to know the kids, fell in love with them, and I found out that they did not know their fathers. They were from different men. Now, I don't drink. I stopped drinking in 1974. I've not had any alcohol. I've had one cigarette in my life. Don't do any drugs. I am clean. I'm healthy, in good shape. So one night at dinner, I gave everybody a little gold ring, and I got down on the floor, and I looked up at the four of them. I said, I'd like to ask the four of you to marry me. They all shook their heads, except for my son, who said, yeah, whatever, can we just have dinner? Because boys are so romantic, aren't they? So we got married at City Hall. Now, again, by EHAs, how many people here had a fancy wedding? Anybody?
Yeehaw.
Couple people? All right, we got married at City Hall. City Hall is not as nice as the bathrooms downstairs, okay? Just gray and black marble. And I walk up to the counter and said, hi, we'd like to get married. And the guy goes, oh yeah, you'd like to get married. And my kids are backing up. And I said, yeah, we'd like to get married, all of you. He goes, oh, we marry you? We marry all kinds of people. We love to marry people. Now the kids are hiding behind my wife. And he says, you have to see, we call you when we ready. So we all sit down. All of a sudden we hear, Sarah and Perry, please come in. We walk in, it's the same guy. Only now he's wearing a judge's robe and speaking perfect English. Like he took the Rosetta Stone while we were waiting. So I'm standing there, I got the kids next to me, and my future wife's on the other side. And he goes, Sarah, do you take Perry to be your lawfully wedded husband? She goes, yes. And he goes, and Perry, do you take these people to be your family? And I said, what the hell, I'm here, right? See, the ladies are laughing because it was a stupid thing to say. And the problem is, men, you gotta watch what you say and what you do. If when we do something stupid, women remember it forever. You never forget. You save it until 50 years later so you can throw it back in our face to remind us that we're morons. And we are. Men are idiots. That's why you have the children. We could never do 6 things at once. We're lucky if we can walk and talk at the same time. So you ladies get credit. Plus, you tolerate us. Right there, you get all the credit in the world. So we got married. We went on the road. Our first stop on our honeymoon was a gig I was doing, was in Barstow. You been to Barstow? Yeah.
Through it.
Barstow, going through it, yeah. The highlight of a person's day in Barstow is to go to the highway and look at the giant thermometer. It's a loop. You pull in, you pull right back out. Sign says, welcome to, thank you for coming. And there's a lot of inbreeding there. I met people who were their own parents. So yeah, I got married to Sarah, which brings me to another factor. This lady over here, I met her earlier, and when I walked up, my name is Perry Kurtz, and my wife's name is Sarah Kurtz. And I looked at her wearing the name tag, her name is Sarah Kurtz. And I said, wow, you have the same name as my wife, only I like you. No, that's the type of stuff he would do. His real name was Jack Roy. He was a quiet guy when he wasn't on stage. So we drove cross country. We stopped in Texas. We stopped in Houston. We were in Austin. We went all the way down to Corpus Christi. Texas is a good state because if you try to get from one end to the other, you have to set your watch back 3 times. It's gigantic. Then we stopped in Alabama, in Mississippi. We went down to Florida. And then we landed where my wife is from, in South Carolina. And we moved in a house right across the street from my wife's father, Jimmy Cochran, 6'8", a good old boy. Loved to drink first thing in the morning, and everybody in town knew him. So after we got settled, he threw a big barbecue using oil drums. That's 6 of them, a row of them making barbecue, and there were like 250 people there. Everybody standing there says, hey, everybody, come here. Everybody, gather around. Come here, come here, come here. Hey, come on, make a circle, sir. Bobby, put down the gun. Bobby, put it down. Don't aim it. Up, just put it down gently. No, don't use your foot. All right, Bobby. All right, everybody, I want to welcome you to the party here. We're celebrating. My daughter's back in town. Sarah came back, and this is her new husband. This is my new son-in-law. This is Perry. He's a real Jew boy. The whole line went like this. And from the back of the line, I heard somebody go, I never seen one before. I had one really tall guy come up to me afterwards, and he's standing there looking down at my head like this. And I, what are you looking for? He goes, you ain't got no horns. I said, we shaved them off in the 1300s. They're gone now. And he goes, really? I said, I really got to go while I can. So we lived there for a while. Then we moved back here into 2003. When we got back here, my wife gave me the shock of my life. She takes me to the bedroom, crosses her arms, and leans back against the door and says, guess what? And I said, what? She goes, I'm pregnant. And I looked at her and said, any idea who the father is? She goes, you're the father, get used to it and grow into it. And she left the room, and I'm sitting there on the bed going, I can't believe this. I'm actually going to have a child of my own. I'm out every night in nightclubs around people that are drinking and smoking cigarettes, and I'm going to have a baby now? Oh my God. And I watched my wife grow into it. I watched her grow and grow and grow and grow. She gained 111 pounds. She weighed 243 pounds when the baby was born. Yep. But 5 weeks before the baby was born, she had horrible cramps. And the vein in her forehead looked like a finger. It was waving at me. So I rushed to the hospital. The doctor says, Mr. Kurtz, we've got 20 minutes to get the baby out of your wife or she's going to die. Oh. And I looked and I said, can you give me 30 minutes to think about that? He says, what are you, a comedian? Oh, yes, I am. He says, well, it's going to be a cesarean. You're welcome to come in and watch. I said, really? Do I want to see this? So I walked in. She's strapped down to the table. Her legs are up in the air attached to 2 ropes. And he's standing between her legs, got her cut open, and he's got both arms inside of her, and he's pulling things out and dropping them back in like he lost a watch in a drawer. No emotion whatsoever. Oh, no, it's an intestine. Meanwhile, he's talking to the nurses about renting cars to go to Las Vegas. No, don't use National, use Enterprise. There's a card in my wallet, just take that out. I'm going, hey, do you have any idea what you're doing? Best line ever. This isn't my first rodeo. And I said, really, how many times have you done this? He goes, 3 or 4. I said, 3 or 4? He goes, 1,000. Now, all of a sudden he turns around and he hands me the baby. Those of you that have children, how many people here have children that you know of? Almost everybody. I want you to think back to that one moment when you held that first child and you looked into that baby's eyes And it was more beautiful than all the sunsets, all the sunrises, all the roses, more beautiful than $1 million in cash. All right, that one's even. And I'm looking at this little baby, 5 weeks old, she's like this big. And I'm looking at her, I start to cry, and the doctor comes up and says, Mr. Kurtz, would you like to cut the cord? And I looked at her and said, she's plugged in? He says, no, the umbilical cord. And I said, you're gonna give me scissors? So we put her on a little table, and comes up and gives me these little blue scissors. Now I thought the umbilical cord was just gonna go snip. No, it's like steel. Every time I would close the scissors, it would squeeze out. So I'm doing this for 10 minutes. They're hysterical. I turn around, there's 40 people in the room. Every nurse, every doctor, they're in the hospital. They're all standing there laughing, they're pointing, they got their cameras out. I think it was Super 8, I'm not sure what it was. And they just think it's so funny. He comes over, he goes, here, let me help you. We do that to everybody. I said, you need to get out more, okay? So we took her home, we named her Bella. And every night I would just look at her and sleep and go to sleep crying and hold her on my chest and go, this is the most wonderful feeling in the world. Then one night I went to the bathroom, I came back and she's in the bassinet. And as I walked by her, and I jumped because I thought the devil was in the apartment. Did you ever hear the devil? They always sound like, I'm the devil, I'm Lucifer. I think it would be much better if the devil sounded and looked like Ethel Merman. Comes down in a pink jumpsuit, there's no business like soul business. You know, swinging her tail around. So I keep walking, then I hear it again. And a smell hits me. And my eyebrows and eyelashes burst into flames. And I couldn't get the air back into my body. And I started choking, I fell to the floor. I crawled in bed, I woke up my wife, honey, what's that horrible smell that came out of the baby? She goes, it's from the baby food. We give it to him at night and it gets the gases out. I said, I wish you'd warned me about it. Favorite line, grow into it. Okay. A couple nights later, we're all watching The Little Mermaid on Disney, little kids. My wife says, I'm gonna go watch a cop show. So I took it personally. We're watching Disney, she wants to go watch people shoot each other. So I figured I'd get even. I waited till she was sleeping, and I ate some baby food. Waited till my stomach was going, crawled into bed, woke her up and said, honey, pull my finger. She pulled my finger and goes, oh, what's that horrible smell? I said, baby food. And I looked at her and said, grow into it. Now my little baby is 13 years old. We go out together a lot. We're very, very close. And when we go out, women say the same thing to me. Your daughter's so pretty. Your wife must be gorgeous. I was there. Do I get some credit for this? So people never believe I could produce a good-looking child. So I bring a picture of my baby. Now it worked for 12 seconds, huh? So she is my heart and soul. And we go out, we do a lot of karaoke together. I do this thing where I make up songs and she gets up and she belts it out like Engelbert Humperdinck. And when she gets done, women generally come up to her and talk to her. And I come up and being the protective father, I put my hand on her shoulder. And most of the time they say the same thing. And is this your grandpa? She doesn't miss a step. She goes, lady, that's a bad way to start a conversation. This is my dad, he made me. And backs up. So we spent a lot of time together. Now she's into dancing. The newest sensation in America is K-pop, Korean rock and roll. Remember when the Beatles came to America and everybody was going crazy? It's doing the same thing. Only now it's in another language. And what they've done is they take parts of American sounds and occasionally words and they put it in the song. So they're singing in Korean, and all of a sudden he goes, but I love you, baby, I really do. And then it's back, and he's like, I think I know what they were doing. What? So she loves that. She's into dancing. I can dance. And so she got into it. And she got into the Korean Dance Academy. And one day one of the instructors said, Bella, you have some strange moves. Where did you learn that? She says, oh, I don't want to talk about it. One girl says, Bella, where did you learn it? She goes, I'm so embarrassed. I go, why? She goes, My dad taught me to dance. So I'm proud of her. We spent a lot of time. She was supposed to come down, but instead her friend said, I'll take you to Six Flags. So that was more important. What can you do, right? You know, sometimes I wonder how I even made it this far. And that's where we are. You know, we're all in the wonder years. Did you ever hear that? You know why it's called the wonder years? I wonder where I put my glasses. I wonder where my keys are. I wonder which apartment I live in. We're all getting that. Anybody here have dementia? I just want to know if I can repeat myself in 10 seconds. Because my mother has it real bad. My mother lives in Philadelphia. And when she first got it was about 8 months ago, I called her up, I said, hi Mom. She goes, who's this? I said, it's Perry. Perry? I have a son named Perry. Yeah, Mom, this is Perry, I'm your son. Oh, you know Perry? No, Mom, this is Perry. Okay, Perry's not here. Mom, I'm calling you. Who's calling me? This is Perry. Your name's Perry too? Mom, I'm your son. Do you remember me? Remember who? This is Perry, Mom. Perry, Mom, what kind of a name is that? Mom, this is your son. Perry's not here. I have a brother named Victor. Oh, you know him too? So now I skip right to the important question. Did you eat today? And she goes, wait, let me look in the sink. Make sure you eat every day. You ever get up and you get busy and you're doing something and all of a sudden you look at your hands and it's going, whoa! Eat. Your body is like a car. If you don't put fuel in it, it doesn't run. It sputters. So the best thing you can do is get fruit. Bananas are good for you. When you hit 60, we're low on potassium. Have a banana every day, but get some bananas, some apples, and grapes. Grapes are great. Because you just take 3 or 4, put them in, and you feel better. Try and eat every day. Does anybody here have a problem with eating? Did anybody eat today? All right, how many people are still here? All right, but you got to celebrate what you can. The fact is, every day above ground is a good day. You're here. Stay here. Don't leave. Nobody knows what's on the other side. I'm afraid that when I pass on, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be laying in the same place and go, great, I got to do this all over again? You don't know. So keep alive. And one of the ways you can do that is celebrate life. Celebrate your birthday. Never be ashamed to tell somebody how old you are. That's so important. Do we have anybody here that celebrated a birthday this year?
Next week.
You got one next week? All right, what's your name?
Polina.
Polina? And where are you from originally?
Indiana.
Indiana. All right, now you're out here. And when's the birthday?
Next Wednesday.
All right, and
Wednesday.
how old will you be?
98.
98. Wow. Did you see how fast she answered?
No.
That was like that. Your brain's still sharp. That's great. Did you
But
play
she
bingo?
already celebrated her 100th
She celebrated her 100th?
2 years ago.
So she's 198.
No. No, she celebrated it in case she doesn't get there.
Oh, so she celebrated it early in
Yeah.
case she didn't make it.
Right.
Well, whatever it is, happy birthday. I think that's great. Now, in the center there, Mr. Texas, what's your name, sir? Kissinger? Wow. Well, you got rid of the accent. And you're from Texas. When's your actual birthday?
August the 18th,
And how old did you become?
90.
90. Very good. So I love when people answer proudly. Sometimes you'll ask a woman, how old are you? And they use the old excuse, old enough to know better. What does that mean? Better than what? It's not even an answer. Are you ready to go? Cheese. What? If you have a birthday, celebrate it. Who else has got a birthday this year? Anybody? Right here? Your name?
Larry.
Larry? Where are you from?
Well, around Arizona, Michigan, Illinois.
So you moved a lot.
Sort of, yeah.
All right. And when's your birthday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. How old will you be?
76.
76. Trombones led the big parade. Very good. Congratulations. And you were brave enough to sit right up front.
Yeah.
That you deserve a lot of credit for that. Do we have anybody out there that's still married? Any married couples? Back there, oh, you can tell they're married, the hands went up at the same time. I mean, it's weird, I'm looking, I just saw 2 hands. Like they're attached. Are you guys holding hands?
We were.
You were? She had to look down to see. She wasn't sure. Yeah, we were. You always tell married couples, because when they go out, they sit at separate ends of the table. They don't usually touch us like, you know which one, order your own damn drink. Now, you back there, how long have you been married?
59 years.
59 years, very good, congratulations. Takes a lot of tolerance to be married. Something I've learned, and men, you have to learn to do, is whatever your wife says, yes, you're right. I know we're falling off a cliff, but you're right, we're gonna be okay. So that's great. Where did you meet each other?
Chicago.
Chicago, that toddler town. That's a pretty long time. I had a couple sitting in the back of one of my shows, and they were making out. They're kissing. I said, what are you guys, teenagers? He goes, we're in love. I said, are you married? He says, yes, we are. I said, how long are you married? He says, 70 years. I said, that's a long time. Where did you meet each other? He goes, 3rd grade. We've never been apart. I said, how old are you? He said, we're both 90 years old.
Oh.
I said, that's great, that's a long time. What do you think is the magic that's kept you together all this time? And he goes, we stopped talking to each other about 20 years ago. I had one couple sitting up front, she had her hand on the inside of his leg. And I said, are you a couple? She goes, whatever.